Hi everyone, it's Adam here from Ads Productions, and this is the review of the D-Link AC2100 Wi-Fi Gigabit router. This is specifically the DIR-2150 model. Okay, so let's get all of the boring technical specifications out of the way so you can get on to the review. This features an IEEE 802.11 AC N-G B and A wireless LAN. You've got 4 10, 100, 1000 Mbps Gigabit Ethernet LAN ports, and you have 1 10, 100, 1000 Mbps Gigabit Ethernet WAN ports. The LEDs are power, internet, 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. There are 4 external antennas included. The data signal rate are obviously 2.4 GHz, and this is capable of up to 300 megabits a second, and the 5 GHz signal is capable of up to 1733 Mbps. The security features are WPA, WPA2 and WPA3. That's Wi-Fi protected access. Some of the advanced features within this router or router are web-based setup wizards, quality of service, IPv6, MU-MIMO Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi protected setup, so that's a push button configuration, as well as the D-Link Wi-Fi app. The dimensions of this are in millimeters, 205 by 132 by 36, and in inches it's 8.05 by 5.19 by 1.41. The weight of the unit is 340 grams, approximately 0.75 pounds. The power input is 12 volts. The operating temperature is from 0 to 40 degrees when it's operating, and when it's in storage it's minus 20 to 65 degrees. It's got all your standard certifications, that's for the physical components, FCC, CE and IC. And the official product ID is DIR-2150. So what do you get in the box? Well, you've got the usual suspects, so you have a warranty card, a setup piece of documentation, as well as a quick start guide. You also have a provided Ethernet cable, just to help you if you don't already have one, but chances are if you're used to dealing with technology, somewhere around your house you have a cable. You also have the device itself. You don't actually have to screw on the antennas for this router because they come pre-installed. This is a very modern looking piece of equipment. It looks like something that would belong in a cyberpunk kind of world, but not really. The antennas stick out like a foreign UFO object. You've also got a cool looking modern design. A very low profile black material is all over this device. You've also got ventilation on the front so it doesn't get too hot, although for the type of device that it is, it's not going to get too hot anyway, unless you live in a hot country. To give you an idea of how big this is, it's roughly the size and shape of a smaller book when you lay it down on its side. I'm not talking a large-scale Game of Thrones book, more like a beginning children's book. On the front you have the status lights, or status lights depending on what part of the world you're from. You've got a power status LED, you've got the internet LED, you've also got 2.4 and 5 gigahertz indicators. So for example, if no one's using 2.4, it's not going to show up and flash. If they are, it will. Okay, on the back we have a reset button, we have LAN ports, there are 4 of them on this, there is an internet port, a WPS button, a power connector and a power button. All of the standard inputs and outputs that you would expect from a networking device. Okay, let's set this thing up. You have 2 options. 1, the tried and tested classic way, which I'm going to use. Plug it into a network, either into a switch or directly into the wall, depending on how your network is set up at home. Give the device some form of internet connection capability, and then browse to the IP address that your network equipment has given it. When you're there, you're going to start going through a wizard. Just bear in mind the default admin password for this is just password. When you make your way through the wizard, it will ask you to input things like what's your username and password for your specific ISP connection and things like that. There is actually a selector box at the beginning, so you can pick your ISP and it will then say, okay, Usually when people are with these ISPs, they have this information. It will just cater the wizard to whoever your ISP is, meaning that any information that it asks for, you will be familiar with. So for example, I picked Vodafone and it knew that I'm likely to have a username and password, which I did. I added it in and then I followed it along. You'll then be notified to provide things like usernames and passwords for the SID and things like that. Fill out all of these. It's a very simple process. Press next, then it will restart. When it restarts, it will apply your network ISP connection information that you've provided. That's the username and password, so that it can actually use your connection. And it will also apply the usernames and passwords for your Wi-Fi so that you can take out your phone and connect to the network that you have just set up on this particular machine. The other option, if you want to use a more of a modern day approach, go to the App Store of your device. So if you have an iPhone, go to the App Store. If you have Android, go to the Google Play Store and search for the words D-Link Wi-Fi. You'll then see a D-Link Wi-Fi app open. You then need to install and run that. When you're there, click on Install New Device. When you've done this, scan the QR code on the quick installation card that's included within the box, and then it will come up with the same set of similar installation instructions asking you to provide the same level of detail that it will if you go to the web browser. It's just a quicker way of doing it. So you can scan the QR code, it will take you directly to the installation instructions, you follow them through, you press next, you provide the information, you press OK, it will restart and apply those settings. 2 ways to get to the same end result. When you pick up a new network device like this, the last thing you want to do is have to mess around for ages trying to get it going. Okay, what setting do I put here? What do I do there? Do I change that value? None of that happens with this. It's a very, very simple and very, very approachable process to get things going. I really do appreciate that D-Link has put the time and effort in to make sure that there's no fluff in this. You scan the code, you follow the instructions, or you go to the IP address, you log in, you follow the instructions. There's no do-it-yourself, you figure it out component. However, there can be if you go into the advanced options. But on the surface, when you get it for the average consumer, don't be intimidated by this because it is really simple and easy to use. So, what exactly can this thing do? Well, you have your obvious ones like port forwarding configuration, as well as changing the settings for the firewall. You would expect that on most routers or routers nowadays, so I'm glad that's an addition. You also have quality of service. It will allow you to change the different connected clients and have them be allocated priority of your internet access. So for example, you can change iPhone to be a different internet access priority than your iPad. So if one's more demanding and requires more of an internet connection, you can make sure of this with the quality of service feature. A really cool thing that's been added as well, although it doesn't really seem game-changing, it's nice that this has been thought about. You have a speed test that's built in to the web interface. Just allows you to quickly see what speeds you're getting compared to what you're paying for. There's also a VPN wizard that's very quick and simple to use, and you can set this up with a few clicks and a few settings in there, so that's really cool that they've added that as well. Alongside this, you have profile-based parental controls, which means you can block certain websites under certain profiles and apply these. Easy to set up, easy to use, and if you're one of those people needing to set up parental controls, you're not going to have to bury your head in any manuals. It's very simple and easy to get going. If you want to configure static routes or routes with this, you can do this very simply as well using the same feature menu. Just go down to static routes and fill them in. The interface of this network device does feel a little bit dated. It doesn't have all these flashy navigation bars and background images, and it doesn't really feel 21st century. Although on the flip side, it's very plain, easy to understand, you're not going to get lost within this interface, so I think it will cater to a lot of people. Just don't expect it to be all bells and whistles. Overall, this budget router is jam-packed full of features and looks great on most setups. If you're looking for a medium to higher end consumer grade router, then look no further than the D-Link AC2100 Wi-Fi Gigabit router. There are going to be things that might make you avoid it, such as the look of it. The look might not be for you. I think it's cool, it looks futuristic. It fits well on most desk setups. However, some people might think it's too flashy and they prefer to have those small black boxes with no outstanding antennas. That's completely up to you. I like it. It comes with a lot of features for the price. It's not the most expensive thing in the world, so it's going to be open to most people. Consider the DIR-2150 AC2100 Wi-Fi Gigabit router. Yes, I know the name is long. I've been Adam from Ads Productions. Thanks for watching.